Hi, my name is Tom, and I was recently transplanted from Philadelphia to Seattle. I must admit that moving from Philadelphia to Seattle has taken quite a bit of getting used to. The climate, food, people, and even the sports teams are vastly different than what I'm used to. However, nothing could have prepared me for the culture shock I experienced during a business trip to Mobile, Alabama. A coworker and I arrived at the airport and were met by our host. An affable fellow, John, led us outside to our, quote, redneck limousine, which turned out to be an F 150 with an extended cab. As he's driving us to our hotel, I'm noticing a bunch of signs on the sides of the road. The South will rise again. Lee surrendered, but I didn't. So, being the ignorant Yankee that I am, I turned to John and inquired, Wow, John, what's up with all the signs? It was 150 years ago. Are people still pissed off about the Civil War? John's jaw clenched as he spoke. You mean the War of Northern Aggression? My butt clenched about as tightly as John's jaw. Evidently, they were still pissed. So I decided to remain quiet until some minutes later, John asked where we'd like to eat. We can go to the fancy place or eat shit. Sorry, John, what was that again? I said we can go to the fancy place or eat shit. I'm looking at my coworker and she's about as perplexed as I am. I think I can speak for both of us when I say the fancy place. Okay. And we drive to the restaurant, sitting on stilts on the edge of the bayou. I noticed that there was an outdoor bar between the stilts with a sandy floor, and fastened to the stilts was that orange plastic mesh that you sometimes see at construction sites. John, what's up with the mesh? Oh, that's for the gators. Really? The gators come up and bother the patrons? No, the patrons bother the gators. They knock 'em on the head with a beer bottle, throw 'em in the truck, and take 'em home and eat 'em. I could already hear banjo music playing in my head. Dinner was nice, and I could tell it was a fancy place due to the white tablecloth and the empty wine bottle that they had shoved a candle into. On the way back to the hotel, John pointed out where we'd be dining tomorrow night. Ate shit. Oh, Ed's Shed, I translated. Sounds good. We worked all through the following day without breaking for lunch, so by the time we got to eat shit, I was starving enough to do just that. I was so hungry that I didn't think I could wait for the entree, so I ordered a shrimp cocktail as an appetizer. John said that sounded good and we all share mine. No, I'm really hungry. Get your own if you want one. Nah, they're big. We'll all split one. I was kind of miffed because the most I'd ever seen in a shrimp cocktail was 5, and there were 5 of us at the table, which was not as fancy as the fancy place because it had a roll of brown paper towels for napkins and newspaper as a tablecloth. When the shrimp arrived in the large pewter bucket, complete with heads and poop veins still attached, I knew I wasn't in Kansas anymore. Not that I've ever been in Kansas. See my video on chaos walking for more on that story. So John tells me that I need to pull the heads off, which is precisely why I ordered shrimp cocktail so that I didn't have to do that. All I managed to do was get green goo all over my fingers. When the next, quote, shrimp had bumps all over its hindquarters, John exclaimed, Caviar! After throwing up in my mouth, I promptly passed it to him for his culinary enjoyment. John, seeing the repulsion on my face, told me that he was going to have to toughen me up and offered to take me gigging frogs or shooting quail with him and some of the boys tomorrow. I told him that I didn't know what gigging was, but I was pretty sure that neither the amphibians nor I would enjoy it. And as far as this Yankee going out in the field with an armed Bobby Joe, Tommy Lee, and Bubba, no thank you. I'd rather remain a virgin if you don't mind.